we have another Rosie O'Donnell update, okay? She's over in Ireland. I thought we were done with Rosie O'Donnell, but like I said last time, she must have a very strong Wi-Fi connection over in whatever Irish village she's living in because we're stuck dealing with her still, okay? Rosie O'Donnell, she's one of these women whose brains broke. Her brain broke the second Trump won. Rosie O'Donnell, she's not gonna recover. She's just one of these ladies, her brain went, okay, like a little twig, it went, and she's not ever going to recover. But Rosie O'Donnell, she's decided to chime in and opine on all of the comings and goings and things happening here in the United States. Even though she left, she still wants to chime in, okay? She's like that person who says, I don't want to go to the party. I don't want to be at that party. And then you see them next week at work and they're like, who was at the party? What'd y'all drink? What'd y'all eat? Was it fun? What music were they playing? Bitch, you should have just come to the damn party. So Rosie O'Donnell, she's over in Ireland, but she won't stop stalking everything that's going on here in the United States. She posted a video discussing the 4th of July that I want us to take a look at.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. To secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. But whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and to institute new government. Come on, America. Keep going. Happy 4th of July. This is a sad day in American history.
Please make it stop. I almost told my producer, please turn it off. Help. I need somebody. Help. Rosie, thank you for the history lesson. Okay, thank you. You know, they say kids aren't learning enough history. Thank you for that. But Rosie O'Donnell, she's in this black and white. The camera's way too close. She's black and white. She's going, we hold these truths to be self-evident. Girl, can you just go live in Ireland and shut the hell up, please? Please, can you go live in Ireland with your freaking herpes, cold sores, and all your rashes and your drugged up daughter? Why do you have to keep opining on American politics and American life? You don't live here anymore and you hate us. You hated living here. You said you felt unsafe here. So go, skedaddle, live your freaking life. But something else Rosie O'Donnell said, she kept using institute in that video. I think she subconsciously knows she needs to be in an institution. Okay, in my opinion, Rosie O'Donnell, you need to be in an institution yourself. You are deranged. Trump derangement syndrome broke your freaking brain like a twig. And I will do the sound effects again because I know you guys like it. Okay, that's Rosie O'Donnell's brain. Snapped, done, kaput, not coming back. Okay, and I pray she doesn't come back to the United States of America, but it is a fun sort of social experiment watching her spiral online. Now we have one more clip of Rosie O'Donnell discussing the horrific flooding in Texas.
And what a horror story in Texas. The flash floods in Texas, the Guadalupe River, 51 missing, 51 dead, more missing. Children at a camp. And you know, when the president guts all of the early warning systems and the weathering forecast abilities of the government, these are the results that we're going to start to see on a daily basis because he's put this country in so much danger by his horrible, horrible decisions and this ridiculously immoral bill that he just signed into law. As Republicans cheered, people will die as a result, and they've started already.
Like Rosie O'Donnell, I am absolutely devastated by the horrific flooding in my home state of Texas. I have shed tears over it. But I'm also disgusted by folks like Rosie and folks on the left and folks in the mainstream media who are trying to make this a political play. They are trying to politicize the deaths of young, innocent girls who are swept away at their summer camp, and I think it's absolutely unconscionable. Rosie O'Donnell, if you would actually do your research, you would know that warnings went out. You would know that these cuts didn't even come into effect and had no bearing on this crisis. The water level shot up at a record in a way we haven't seen in probably over 100 years. So Rosie O'Donnell, she cannot make a video without blaming everything on President Trump. right? It's like when President Trump got into office, he was blamed for the price of eggs. He's like, I just moved my freaking clothes in. I just got in the door. I just walked over from the inauguration. Why is it my fault the price of eggs? Can he give me 12 hours? Can he give me and Scott Besson a couple of hours and, Brooke Rollins to see what's happening with the price of eggs? But Rosie O'Donnell, her Trump derangement syndrome, just has her blaming President Trump for everything. And another woman who happens to be blaming President Trump for everything is none other than Jasmine Crockett. So Jasmine Crockett, who I said is one of the most uncouth, inarticulate women in political public life right now, she decided to chime in on everything happening in our country as well. Let's take a look at what she had to say.
As far as I'm concerned, you randomly kidnapping folk and you throwing them out of the country against their civil rights, against their constitutional rights. And frankly, how would they feel if some other country decided that they were going to just start throwing people randomly in our country? Like that is absolutely insane. So yes, all I got to say is y'all need to get these fools out of here.
Jasmine, first off, you don't talk like that in real life when there are no cameras around, okay? The second Jasmine Crockett turns on the phone, she takes on this new performative persona. She's like, hey, crack-a-lack and jack-a-back-a-book-a-back-a-da. That's how she talks when the camera comes on. She does not talk like that. This is a private school, highly educated woman. I believe she's a lawyer, okay? I don't know how she passed the bar. I think maybe she thinks she passed the bar, but she was actually just getting blackout drunk at the bar. She was sitting at a bar, and she thinks that she passed the bar. But no, Jasmine Crockett, every time she turns on the camera, she's like, this mofo, crack-a-lack and jackin'. Why do you talk like that when the camera comes on? Because you don't ever talk like that in private life. If you go visit Jasmine Crockett in her office, is she going to talk like that? No, but she's taken on this persona for likes and clicks, and she's trying to appeal to some audience she thinks is going to like her and give her money and elevate her potentially for a 2028 run. I'm here to tell you, Jasmine Crockett, with that type of performance, I don't think you have a prayer or a big future in politics whatsoever. But I want to talk about something you said. You said, how would people feel in America if other countries were sending their people here? Where have you been, bird brain? That's what's been happening. Have you not seen South America and the caravans of people being sent to America? You haven't seen the caravans from, Venezuela, all these countries. You haven't seen the gazillion, men from China at the border we saw under Joe Biden. Go look at the clips from 2021, 22, 23, 24. I was following all of this. You had thousands of people pouring in every single day. Where were you, Jasmine Crockett? Because what you just described is actually what's been happening. And folks aren't being randomly rounded up, okay? They're not just randomly rounding people up. They have lists of people who are in the country illegally. Folks who've committed crimes, folks who've actually even been convicted of crimes and then were just let go because of Biden's soft on crime policies and judges. That's who's being rounded up by ICE. And there's a reason President Trump won, because he ran on immigration, he ran on deportations, he ran on mass deportations. Barack Obama was the deporter in chief. Bill Clinton wanted a very strong, secure border and deportations as well. But for some reason, when President Trump wants something, all hell breaks loose, Jasmine Crockett. So maybe you should go open a history book and you should figure out what's actually happening in our country, because you're spending all your time on TikTok, and TikTok, your time might be up.